All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, let's go over the almost a robbery taking place at the Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin fight. There's some wild stuff goes on in boxing. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, let's go over the fight that took place tonight. Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed championship at 168 pounds. And the officials in that fight, looking like they were walking up on one of the biggest controversies that we would have seen in a while. Very, very, very hard to understand these scorecards. Before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, please, thank you, hit that like button. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Let's get to this. All right, so Canelo Alvarez fights Gennady Golovkin in a fight which is a trilogy fight for the undisputed 168-pound championship. The two, as you probably know, had fought before at 160 pounds. The first fight was a very long time ago. I do believe it was in like 2017. And it was a draw. The second fight, which was maybe a year after that, Canelo Alvarez in 2018, I believe, Canelo Alvarez received a decision win. So it's now been 4 or 5 years since those fights took place, and they decided to do a rematch. When when Gennady Golovkin is 40 years old, and going into the fight, people were saying, okay, who do you think is going to win this fight? And I thought, Canelo Alvarez is probably going to win this fight. However, Canelo Alvarez, I think, I definitely believe Canelo Alvarez is past his prime. If he's not way over past his prime, he is an amount over it. And I think it showed it in this fight. But so I thought to myself, I didn't see a knockout taking place. However, I knew pretty much, I thought it was going to go to the decision, and I figured Canelo Alvarez would win, but I thought, look, this is the last go out for Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin's a very solid fighter, so he will, he'll step up to the plate. And I, in my personal opinion, don't think he did. And the scorecards, which were 116, 114, it was 116, 114, and then I do believe it was 115, 113, 115, 113. However, pretty much if there was one round that was off, I may be messing up the scorecard. Right, so just check them. 116, 112, and then 115, 113, 115, 113. So if one judge would have given, if those judges, the ones that had 115, 113, would have given Gennady Golovkin one more round, that fight would have wound up being a draw. Now, if it was a draw, Canelo Alvarez would have still kept his championships, but up until maybe the 9th round, I don't think I gave Gennady Golovkin any rounds. And from 10, 11, and 12, I thought that maybe he might have won 2 out of 3 rounds of the last 3 rounds, but not enough to where you're going to score that fight, as closely as 7 rounds to 5. There's no way that man got 5 rounds, should have won 5 rounds out of that, right? So, this is just another case where, people are seeing either one or two things happen. I could go back and look at the fight. Either, DAZN, I'm listening to DAZN's commentary, and they're just so in love with everything that Canelo Alvarez is doing that I might have missed a round or two where where Gennady Golovkin maybe was throwing more shots or had more success than I thought he did. Because honestly, I thought that was definitely the case as those guys in the zone were calling that Bam Rodriguez fight, because they were acting like, Bam Rodriguez, was in like a really close fight. And to me, I kept saying no. I keep seeing Rodriguez catching, pretty much catching a lot of the shots on his elbows or catching them, parrying them on his gloves. And even though Gonzalez, I do believe was the name of the fighter, was fighting him, was throwing a lot of shots, some of those shots really weren't landing. That was not the case with Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez was legitimately landing the bigger shots. Legitimately, especially that left hook, continued to land that left hook, because Gennady Golovkin was carrying his hands down a little low. But anyway you go at it, 116, 112, 115, 113, 115, 113. The totality of the scorecards, I think they got it right, that every one of those judges gave the fight to Canelo Alvarez. But nah, man, that fight was wider than that. However, looking at that fight and saying what is going to happen forward, man, I'm telling you, dude, please do not tell me that guy is just that Canelo Alvarez is just going to walk through Demetrius Andrade, Jermall Charlo, or David Benavidez. And I will tell you, my personal belief after watching that fight is I don't think he's going to beat David Benavidez. Those guys, the way that he approaches that fight, Canelo Alvarez is slow-footed. He looks slow-footed against Gennady Golovkin, and Gennady Golovkin is slow-footed and 40 years old. And the fact that he does not continue his pace through all 12 rounds, telling you, man, Dimitri Bivol is not going to be the last guy to beat him. I don't think that Gennady Golovkin really is anything but a shell of himself, honestly. Now, he's even being a shell of himself, he still has enough power to, get your respect. And, he was definitely landing some good shots up in there, some nice uppercuts. Definitely that left hook was landing on occasion and may have gotten Canelo Alvarez's attention. But Canelo Alvarez still is not somebody that can really fight all 3 minutes of a round. He does not have particularly fast feet, and he is not nearly as elusive as he used to be, especially in the second half of that fight. I would seriously favor David Benavidez to beat him if those guys match up. As far as Jermall Charlo or Demetrius Andrade, I mean, I think maybe he may have a little bit more of a difficulty getting the actual, he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt that Gennady Golovkin got, right? He's going to have to win every 2 rounds he wins. He's going to have to win two consistent rounds to get credit for one. But if he really does fight, man, I'm telling you, I think both these guys have a very, very good shot. That's Gennady Golovkin and Jermall Charlo beating Canelo Alvarez, especially with Jermall Charlo, who doesn't fight much different than Gennady Golovkin does, except for he's a lot more mobile and his hands are a lot faster and his jab is more stiff and his combinations are running off a lot more quickly. And I think that he can execute a lot of what you saw from several people, both Erislandy Lara, who I think beat Canelo, and Gennady Golovkin, who definitely gave Canelo and caused Canelo a lot of problems. But hopefully we'll be able to get to see it. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.